Hello students. So students, in the previous class we had completed the chapter and that is the separation of substances. In that chapter student we discussed the different types of separating techniques which is responsible for separating the two substances from each other. In this one students, we have studied the different type of a separating technique like threshing is there, winnowing is there, then filtration is there, sedimentation is there, decantation is there students. Then we have studied the evaporation, distillation method, loading method. So all these are what? These are the different kind of separating techniques which help in separating the two components from each other. In that one student, we also discuss a very important thing. Let me remind you, that is the saturated solution. Saturated solution. What do you understand by the saturated solution students? A solution which we can say that a solution in which no more solute can be dissolved in it, that is known as a saturated solution. Okay, so if suppose you have taken 100 gram of water and in that you are continuously adding the sugar in it or a salt in it, after some time you will observe that the water it dissolves all the sugar and the salt which you are adding in it, and ultimately it will get dissolved in it. But after some times the solute is not possible to get dissolved and it will remain at the bottom of the tumbler in which you have taken the water, in which you are making the solution, right? And at that time, when no more solute can be added in the particular solution, that solution is known as a saturated solution. It is a level in which no more solute can be added in it. Okay, so we can simply define it that no more solute can be added. Okay, no more solute can be added. That is a saturated solution. In this one student, we also studied a very important topic student, and that is the solubility. What do you understand by the term solubility? So you see, solubility, it means that in 100 gram of water, what is its capability, what is its capacity to dissolve the amount of a solute in it, that is its solubility. Okay, so we can say that if more solute can be dissolved by a solvent, then its solubility will be high. And if the less amount, if a solvent is there, if a liquid is there, which can dissolve a less amount of a solute in it, such kind, less amount of a solute means after some time, no more solute can be added in it, so its solubility is less. Okay, so in 100 gram of water, in how much in 100 gram of a solvent, how much solute can be dissolved by that particular solvent is defined or determined as solubility. Now, is it possible to increase the solubility, student? Yes. By increasing the temperature, we can easily increase the solubility of a substance. You see, students, I told you yesterday that a very important thing, most of the time a question is asked related to that how can you increase the solubility? So you will write it, that is solubility can be increased, it can be increased by increasing temperature. Okay, so when you increase the temperature, now there is more space. Actually, what happened? You see, student, first of all, your question should be that when you dissolve the sugar in it, where does the sugar goes? Okay, so we will say that sugar get dissolved in the water. Sugar get dissolved in the water or sugar get properly mixed in the water. Actually, or the solvent is having a small gaps in it. Okay, so the sugar particles, it will get spaced, or it will get into that of the space of that of the water. Okay, so if suppose a small hole is somewhere, so ultimately the particles will enter into that hole, right? And if that hole will be filled by 2 or 3 particles and now it is covered, so you can say that no more particles can be enter now, because the hole is already filled. The same thing happened with the water. At first, the water is having small gaps in it, so the sugar particles will goes in it and it will get interlocked into that of the gaps. Okay, when all the gaps are filled and again you are adding the sugar, there is no such space present in the water, so it will not going to mix in it. But when you increases the temperature, the gap widens. Okay, and it will allow more and more solid particle to dissolve in it. In a very simple language, you simply understand that saturated solution is a solution in which no more solute can be added, and we can increase the solubility of a saturated solution by increasing the temperature. When we increase the temperature, it will allow more and more particles to get mixed into it easily. Okay, so by increasing the temperature, we can increase the solubility. What will happen when we decrease the temperature, students? So, solubility gets decreases by decrease in the temperature. So if there is a decrease in the temperature, the solubility also get decreased. So increase in temperature increases the solubility, decrease in temperature decreases the solubility. Okay, so this was all about the solubility, students, that we have studied right now. Okay, so this is the end of the chapter of the separation of the different substances by using the different kind of a separating technique. Okay, so you all have to learn all the separating techniques, separating method, and where we can use all these different kind of a separating methods, student. Now move on and we will start with the new chapter. And that chapter is chapter 6, which is changes around us. Changes around us, students. Changes. Okay, around us, it means in our surrounding. So you see, a lot of changes occur in our surrounding. Okay, like you see, suppose students, you have taken ice from that of the fridge. Okay, and you have kept it outside. What will you observe? You will observe that the ice starts melting. Okay, it means at first when you have taken the ice from the fridge, at that time it was at the solid state, right? And when you keep it outside for a few times, you have seen that the solid get converted into the liquid one. Okay, so solid states get converted into the liquid one. Now you have taken the liquid again and you boiled it. Now what change you have observed? You have seen that the liquid get converted into the gaseous. Okay, so we can see, students, that there are a lot of things which is present around us which is having some properties. These property can be related to its color, these property can be related to its size, these properties can be related to its shape, and you can see that the changes occur in it. Example, you see, student, if you have taken a sponge, okay, and what you have done, you have pressed the sponge. You will see that there is a change in the shape and the size of the sponge. Okay, that is also what is a kind of a change. Okay, so you see that if there is any changes occur in the properties, we will say that a change occur. Okay, so change in the properties defines the change has taken place. So we can write it. That is, the things which is present around us The thing which is present around us have certain properties. Have certain properties. Like state. First of all, students state that whether it is in a solid state, whether it is in a liquid state, whether it is in a gaseous state. Then size. Yes, it is a smaller in size, it can be the bigger in size. Then position. Then shape. Then color is also there, students. Color. Then temperature. Then composition. Structure, etc. Lot more are there. Okay, so you see the things which is present around us, they shows a different kind of properties. They have a certain properties, students, and these properties can be anything. It can be size, it can be shape, it can be composition, it can be the color also, it can be the temperature also. Okay, so any of the property, if in all the property, if any of the property get changed, we will say that a change has taken place. Okay, so changes, it means what? Change in the property of the object defines the change occur. Okay, so we can say that any change occurs in the property. Any change occurs in the properties of the object. In the properties of the object, it has, we can say that it has change taken place. Okay, so change in the properties will define that a change has taken place. Okay. So, very good example, students. Right now I said, sorry, that is the change in the state, students. So, you see that if we talk the change in the state, if ice is there, so ice is in the solid state, right? It is a change, it is a solid state, and when this ice gets melted, it will get converted into the water. Now, water is in the which state? It is in the liquid state, and finally, when you boil this water will get converted into the water vapor. That is a gaseous state. Okay, so one is the solid to liquid and then to the gas. Again you can convert it into the gas to liquid by condensing it. So it will get converted into the water droplets, and when you take this water and again keep it into the fridge in the lower temperature, provides the lower temperature, it will get converted into the solid. So you see here, students, there is a change in the property makes the change. Okay, ice is in the solid state and state defines its property, and when it melts it becomes liquid, means solid state get converted to liquid or solid state changes to liquid. So there is a change in the property of a solid to the liquid makes a change in ice to water, conversion of the ice to water. Okay, so we can say that any change in the property makes the changes in itself. Now you see, students, lot of changes occur in our daily life that we used to see. Okay, now we can say that. Let me tell you some of the changes, example of some of the changes. First one is the formation of the curd. Formation of curd from milk. Then burning of fuels, drying of clothes, ripening of fruits, germination of seeds, flower blooming, okay, flowering of plants, then shading of the leaves, if you see the human being, growing of the human beings or growth of the human beings, then change in day and night, change of day and night, position of sun, and many more. You see students, I have written some of the examples, but you can take a lot of examples are there which occur around us, a lot of changes are there which occur around us that we can see, we can observe it. So if you see in a general students, the burning of the fuel, even in the burning of a fuel, what we used to see that when you burn the fuel, it get converted into ash. Okay. Then the curdling of the milk. Curdling of the milk, it means conversion of the curd from milk or formation of the curd from milk. Right? So you see student, if you keep milk having a moderate temperature and if you keep it in outside in a proper temperature, if you are providing to it, so ultimately it will get converted into the curd, and the conversion of the curd from that of the milk is also a change. Okay, because there is a change in its property. Milk and the curd, they are different properties. Both of them are having the different properties. Then if you see drying of the cloth due to the evaporation process, the wet cloth, the water which is present in it will get converted into the water vapor, and the clothes, they get dried. So that is also what? It is also a kind of a change. Then ripening of the fruits. In the plant student, a lot of changes can be seen student. The first thing is the growth of the plant. Okay, the plant from that of the seeds, they used to grow into a tree or in a plant. Okay, so before that we can say there is a germination of the seeds occur. Because of the germination of the seed, there is a formation of a root and shoot. In the chapter students, in the previous chapter also we have discussed about the germination of the seeds, in which a sprouted seed, we called it as a sprouted seed, from which a white structure is coming out if suppose we are giving a proper amount of a moisture to it. When we keep it in a wet cloth or a muslin cloth for a whole night, the next day you will find that the seed germinated. It means a white structures comes out from it, which shows the germination of the seeds. Okay, sprouting of the seeds. So we can say the germination of the seeds occur. When we talk about the germination, let me tell you that it means roots and shoots formation. Roots and shoots formation. Okay, so germination of the seed occur. Ripening of the fruit students. After that you have seen that the raw fruit, it is green in color. But if you see a ripened fruit, so it is red in color or into the different color. Okay, so ripening of the fruit is what? It is a kind of a change from a raw fruit. It will get converted into the to a ripened fruit, and both of them are having the different color also. One is green in color, another is having, it is colorful. Okay, sometimes it is green itself, it is yellow or red. Okay. Flowering of the plant students, so blooming of the flowers from a bud to that of the flower, that is also kind of a change. And finally shading of the leaves. Okay, so the leaves, the old leaves, they get detached from that of the plants, and that is called the shading of the leaves. Growth of the human being, from a baby, the adult become an adult, that is what? It is a growth. So it is also a change, right? That from a small kid to a big person, that is a change only. So, growth of the human being. Change of a day and night, student, it is occurred because we know that it occurs due to the rotation of the earth, but this change occurs every time. Even you can say change in the season also is also a change. Winter season, then summer season, then rainy season, like that. Autumn is there. So, you see students, it occurs, that is also what? Change in the property of the atmosphere. So, we will say it is the change occur. Change in the day of night, day to night. That is the change again from night to day. And the position of the sun. Sun, it rises from the east, and we used to say that the sunset occurs from the west. So we always say that there is a change in the position of the sun. Although it is because of the rotation of the earth. Okay, so these are the different kind of changes. So if you see student, a lot of changes are occurring here. So we can say, if the question arises from here, that is all the changes that occur around us is good for us? Okay, so you see. So is all the changes which is occurring here is good for us students? No. Some of the changes, they are good for us, they are beneficial to us, but some of the changes are harmful to us. Okay, so what are the different kind of changes which are beneficial to us and that of the harmful to us? So you see students, first of all we will talk about the beneficial one. So you see, so we can say that some of the changes beneficial to us. Some of the changes are beneficial to us. Like, you see, ripening of the fruit. It is very important for us. Ripening of fruit. Then, next one, blooming of the flower, students. Okay. Growth of plant. Growth of plants. Okay. A lot more are there. Growth of plant is there. Germination of seeds. Plants and human being. Or any of the animal. These are some of the beneficial, although there are a lot more students in which we can find that germination occur. Means it is beneficial to us. Okay, means these kind of changes are beneficial to us. Now there are some changes which can be harmful to us students. Like, we can say that some of the changes are harmful to us, like volcanic eruption, then natural disaster, natural disaster can be anything student, it can be tsunami, it can be flood also, doesn't matter, okay, or an earthquake also, which can include the forest fire also. So all these things are what? These are the, we can say these are the harmful for us. Or spoiling of food. You know, student, when you keep the food for the few days, then you will find that a bad smell is coming out from the food, and this is a change in the color and in the order of the food, and we will say that it is which is the spoiled. The food get spoiled. So that kind of a changes we call it as a spoiling of the food. So it is also a kind of a change which is harmful to us. Okay, now not only the ripening of the fruit, but we say that ripening of the fruit is a useful, beneficial to us. Okay, from a raw fruit it will get converted into the ripened fruit. Here, from a ripened fruit, if it becomes a spoiled fruit, okay, so that is also a changes which is harmful to us. So we can say the fruits gets rotten. So rotten fruits are also harmful changes to us. So this is also a kind of a change also occurs, student, which occur, but we can say that these kind of a changes are harmful to us. So by this, students, we can say that changes occur around us a lot, but the changes can be beneficial to us, it can be harmful to us. Okay, changes which is harmful like all these, and there are some changes which is beneficial, but the change occur. And how the change occur? The change occur because of the change in the property. If the property changes, ultimately the change will also take place. Okay. Now there is one more thing, student, that how these changes occur. Most of the time, if you take an example of a ice. So in case of a ice, students, we have seen one thing, and that is in case of a ice get converted into water, and from the water it get converted into vapor. Right? So we have seen that ice get converted water to water vapor. Right, students? So what is this? How does it get converted from water to water vapor? It gets converted by the heat. When we apply a heat to it, then ice gets converted to water, and again from water to vapor. When we apply heat again to it, it will get converted into the vapor. Okay, so you see? Okay, so you see, students, that ice get converted to water and water to water vapor, and this change occur due to the action of the heat. When you supply a sufficient amount of a heat to it, there is a change in its state from ice to water and water to water vapor. So we can say that here heat is responsible for the change in its state. Now there are some more ways are there by which we can change, show the change in the material in its state, and these changes can be done by the action of a heat, by light, and that of the electricity. So we can write it. Some of the ways by which changes can take place in material by the action of heat. Heat, we already had discussed heat, students. Then light is also responsible, electricity is there, and force. Electricity as well as force. So these are some of the factors which can change the properties of an object, and due to which changes can be seen either in the state, either into its shape and that of the size. Okay, so all these things are responsible for the change. Now when we talk about the changes is also classified into two. Okay, so now we will discuss about the classification of the changes. So there are some changes. Classification of changes. Classification. So there are some changes, students, which can be reversed, and there are some changes which cannot be reversed. Okay. So on that basis, we have classified the changes into two, that is reversible changes and irreversible changes. Reversible changes and then irreversible. From the name itself, you are able to understand when we talk about the reversible change, it means the change which can be reversed easily, that is a reversible change. And when we talk about the irreversible change, it means which cannot be reversed. Okay.